Pakistani court acquits man who honor killed his own sister. Pakistani citizens expressed their shock and dismay on social media in reaction to the recent news that the killer of a beloved social media star may soon be released from prison. Mohammed Wasim, a Pakistani man, murdered his sister, Qandeel Baloch, in 2016, resulting in him being sentenced to life in prison. Qandeel is known as the Kim Kardashian of Pakistan, as she lived by her own terms and stood against patriarchal norms in Pakistan. Wasim said he murdered his sister because of her quote unquote intolerable behavior and the dishonor she had brought to the family. Recently, Wasim's parents appealed to Pakistan's court for his release. Pakistan's Islamic laws allow pardon for a convicted murderer if the victim's family forgives the perpetrator. Women's rights advocates and activists in Pakistan are distraught over the impending acquittal. In the same year as the murder, Pakistani lawmakers passed a law intended to close the loophole that allows perpetrators to bypass penalties. The court, however, pointed out that the anti-honor killing laws were passed months after Baloch's murder and therefore cannot be retroactively applied to her case. Wasim's expected release date has not yet been made public.
What a stupid law that was. Imagine if your family doesn't like you. That means that anybody, like people could come just kill you, and then then your family forgives them, and they're gonna go free. This is why, like, murderers shouldn't just
standards of this in Iran.
Yeah, but that's insane. I mean, yeah, that's a concept of Bessos or stuff. No, but there should be two. Like, it's not just a crime towards the family. It's also a crime towards the guy who's dead. Like, how are you gonna get the forgiveness from the dead person? Like, oh, my family was gonna forgive you. Or like, okay, what about the victim, the main victim? The family is a victim, but the main victim is a person who's incapable of forgiving because he's dead or she's dead. Like I don't know. Like, I think this is like religious mentality is that humans are like, who's the owner? It's always like, where's the owner? Like, who the person who's wronged was the people who own this, and as long as they forgive you, you're good. Like, in civilized countries, a murder or theft or something is just a crime against order, against the state, against, like, regardless of separate.
So the state will prosecute you. It'll be people of California versus your ass.
Yeah, it's not just a civil issue that somebody needs to forgive you. You have committed a crime. There's nobody like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people were bringing up. And so partially in reaction to her murder, these like anti-honor killing laws were brought forth. So, it's horrible that she had to pay this price for that sort of legislation to, come forth. But that is good that now this kind of loophole has been closed in the law, which is fantastic. But unfortunately, yes, it is correct. You legally cannot retroactively apply that to his case. And so he's able to walk scot-free because, her family said, we still miss her very much. We're really sad about the fact that she's no longer with us, but we're excited. Like, we're happy for our son to come home.
Wait, because yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So if this law, according to the previous law, if you're killing your own sister, like, the people who have to forgive you are your own mother and father.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna forgive you. They're your parents. At some point, they're gonna forgive you. Jesus. So basically, your sisters, you're the way the law was, every sister was like a potential, like, it's just like every brother could just basically eliminate the sister and just hope for the parents for their sympathy towards their own son to at some point take place, and you go free. How long did this guy go
standard?
Yeah. So he went to prison in 2016.
Yes, he confessed to her murder.
So he just went to jail for 6 years only. for killing his own sister.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, given how honor matters, I think he's gonna think like that was such a small price to
He has
pay.
never once expressed an ounce of remorse for doing this. He actually
Yeah, and
sedated, he put sedatives in his family's food so that they would be passed out while he strangled her.
I know he thinks like, wow, I didn't even pray. Like, I cleansed our family, I restored honor. I'm an honorable man. I have Beira and everything, and I only went to 6 years in jail for it. Like, believe, amazing, unbelievable. 6 years only
So I was
for killing your
watching
own sister.
the Guardian put out a really good 30-minute documentary about Qandeel that I would really encourage people to go watch, because it talks about how, she's kind of, this catchphrase is she's the Kim Kardashian of Pakistan, because she would have very sexually provocative content, and very boldly so, and unabashedly so. And this would get her a lot of attention and a lot of controversy, in the same way that Kim Kardashian's, break the internet picture, gets a huge reaction. But what's different is that she wasn't from a like very rich, wealthy family. She was from like a very working class family. And she had to escape an extremely abusive marriage. And after she did that, she went to the big city and then found this acclaim. And she really was pushing the boundaries nationally on this conversation about how women are supposed to act. And the way that she was doing it was in many ways um, just being boldly sensual, publicly so. Was in many ways a political act, because it's seen as she should be constantly berated on national television about how she is a dishonor to Pakistan as a nation. She's seen as representing the nation and is shameful to the nation and the state and Muslim women in general. And she was breaking so many barriers and pushing so many taboos. But what really seemed to push things over the edge was there was an incident where she was on TV and she debated a Muslim cleric. And then this got a really big reaction and the audience really liked it. So this Muslim cleric pushed really hard to go meet with her. And so she took photos and posted about how this cleric met with her, this woman in Western clothing, in jeans and a tight blouse, alone in a hotel room, and even was taking photos of her wearing his like mufti hat and posted them. And this got huge backlash. But what's interesting is that she was trying to say, I have always been open about who I am. I'm a woman who's very, like I said, bold about my sexuality. There's no hypocrisy there. But what's the hypocrisy of this cleric to show up, alone with me and be acting this way? And I'm the one who's getting threatened with death because I come forward and say this, when I'm the one I've been consistent. And because of this incident with the cleric, it pushed her spotlight and the pressure on her to a completely new level. And the pressures were just insane and too much. And so she tried to go home. And when she went home, that's when her brother did this to her. And he said it was partially because that the media was coming to their house to bother them about this issue with the cleric. And this cleric was in fact arrested for connection to her murder, although he was released because they couldn't find any evidence about his involvement.
Wow, sounds like she was like a national hero. Like,
She was
wow.
really beloved. She had a lot of attention on her. She, at one time, her Facebook page was banned because her name Baloch was bringing dishonor to the nation of Baloch, the Baluchi people, because her real name isn't actually Qandeel Baloch. It's actually it was Fawzia Wasim, and so that became a huge issue as well. This whole Baluchi angle, and people. That's partially why when I saw this news come out, I saw people all over social media, Pakistani social media stars, expressing their outrage over this. They couldn't believe it. They were really hurt and dismayed that this was allowed to happen. because this happened to someone so public. And the message that this sent to other people who are trying to express themselves online and be more free than they can be in the public space, doing so online. If this could happen to Qandeel, imagine what could happen to me. Someone who had as big of a spotlight as her was taken out like this, and then this happens through the justice system. What would happen to me? So they were also talking about the chilling effect that this has on Pakistani society, and how the presence she had and how far she pushed things is missed so much.
Yeah.
He is saying, I see so many secular and reasonable Pakistanis on social media. I wish they were better represented in their country. Yes, definitely. In my experience, many of them are people who had to leave because to be able to be more free and express themselves, they have to leave. But the benefit is that because they have that safety, they're able to reach back into their country and try to talk about these issues and push the conversation further. But it's a high price that many people have to pay. Atheist Republic needs your help. We've been the target of many legal attacks by Hindu nationalists ever since our founder, Armin Navabi, blasphemed against Hindu deities. We have retained legal counsel to help us defend our access to our community in India. We have started a fundraiser that will help us afford to tackle many legal issues, including judicial harassment and censorship. Whatever you can contribute will go a long ways in helping us in this fight. Link in the description below.